All right, we're going to try something new today. Hopefully, this is recording. Today we're going to go over 3.5a writing equations. We're going to use slope-intercept form to write our equations today, and we'll learn about some more forms later on. But today we're using slope-intercept. The reason is, well, in our equation we're going to have our slope, which we represent with m. B is going to represent our y-intercept, where that graph hits the y-axis. We also have y and x in here. X and y are going to represent any point on that line. So x and y are variables, because obviously there's infinitely many points on a line. So x and y again represent all those points. So first, let's review how to find slope. Slope obviously is going to be important to writing equations of these lines. So to find slope, one way to do it if you're just looking at a graph is you're going to pick a couple points, say here and here. And if you're doing rise over run, well, this one goes down 1, right 2. So because it goes down, our slope is going to be negative, and we're going down 1 over 2, if you remember from the other day. Or if we just get 2 points, we want to use our slope formula, which remember is going to be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So our y2 is 7 minus our y1, which is 3. And then we're going to subtract our x's. So we got negative 2 minus 2. This will get us 4 over negative 4, which if we reduce that, we're going to get a slope of negative 1. So again, looking at a graph, you can simply do rise over run, or if you're just given 2 points, then it's going to be easiest to use that slope formula. So y equals mx plus b, like we said before, m is going to represent our slope, so we need to find m, and if we look at our graph, we're going up 2 over 4. So 2 over 4 is going to reduce to 1 over 2. B again is your y-intercept, so you're looking at this point right here where it hits the y-axis. Okay, not where it hits the x, not this one, but where it hits the y-intercept. So in this one we can count down and we see that intersects at 10. Actually negative 10. So plugging m and b into our equation is going to be y equals 1/2 x minus 10. So that's the equation for this line. So really, if you remember, x and y can represent any point on that line. So if I plug in any point here in your x and your y value, it should equal out. So finding the slopes of these lines, well, actually writing the equations, which we do need to find slope first. So in this one, if you look at your slope, looks like we're going right through the origin, up 1 over 3. I don't know why it's drawn extra stuff, so we'll do that. Not used to this MOBA yet. So here we got y equals, and again our slope was 1 over 3 x. And if you notice, the y-intercept is 0. So if you want, you can write plus 0, but really you don't need it because it's plus 0. So this is your equation right there. Moving on to this one, hopefully you notice we got a negative slope right away. So again, y equals, here our slope, we're going down 4, it would appear, and over 2. So 4 over 2, that simplifies to 2, and we got to remember it's negative. So negative 2x, find the y-intercept, which is at 3. So plus 3 is our equation here. And again, like I said, every point on the line should work in here. So for example, if you plugged in the point 0, 3, if you plug in 0 here and 3 in for y, you would end up with 3 equals 3, which is a true equation. And again, that would work for any point on that line. These bottom two can be a little tricky because if you think about it, they're slopes. This one has a slope of 0. So there's no slope. We do have a y-intercept, which here is 8. So this one is simply y equals 8. You can think of it as 0x plus 8, but again, 0x is just going to be 0. You notice every single point on this line has a constant y value of 8. So that's why this one has y equals 8. Over here we have an undefined slope. So when our slope is undefined, it's actually x equals, and then you look, okay, where do we hit the x-axis? What does x equal on every point on this line? Well, it hits at -3. So our equation is x equals -3. One way to remember which one it is, if it's x equals or y equals. If it's going through or intersecting the x-axis, it's x equals. It's hitting the x-axis here. If it's intersecting the y-axis, well, then it's going to be a y equal. Right here it hits the y-axis. So that's one way to remember this. Right? These are often mistakes that people make, are getting these ones wrong. All right, now to do a little algebra. It says find an equation from a slope and a point. So we're going to be given a slope, which we're given a slope of 2, and it has to pass through this point. We need to write its equation. Well, to write the equation, we need the slope, which we have, but then we also need the y-intercept, which this doesn't explicitly give us the y-intercept. So we're going to have to find that using some algebra. So we're still going to use y equals mx plus b. Our y-intercept that we need to find is b. So we're going to plug everything else in. We have an x value and a y value here. We have our slope, our m. So if we plug everything in, instead of y equals, it's 1 equals m, which is 2, x, which is -1, and then we need to solve for b, so plus b. So doing some algebra, 2 times -1 is -2. Add the 2 over, b is going to be 3. So now we have our y-intercept and our slope, so we can say y equals 2x plus 3. So just doing a little algebra here, we can find that y-intercept. So we'll go over a few examples here. If you want to try a couple of these on your own, or maybe watch me do the first couple, then try the last one on your own, that might be a good idea, some good practice. So this one, we know our slope. We need to plug everything in again to y equals mx plus b. I'm sick of blue. Let's use green. So y equals, well, y value is -4. So -4 equals m x plus b, what we're trying to find. So that would give me -4 equals 6 plus b. Subtract the 6, so b would be -10. Now we have our y-intercept and our slope, so y equals our slope, which is 2x, and then we have -10 for our answer here. So again, today is all about writing equations. All right, next, here again, it's using that same formula. So y equals, we'd have -3 equals 6 times 2 plus b. So -3 is going to equal 12 plus b. Subtract the 12, and we're going to get -15 for our b. And therefore y equals our slope, 6x minus 15. Hopefully, starting to follow along here. You will have fractions to deal with on this assignment. Here's one. It's a little simpler one. Same process. So again, y equals -3 equals m, which is -3 over 2, x, which is 4, plus b. So -3 equals. Now to multiply this, remember this is 4 over 1. To multiply fractions, you go straight across. So negative 3 times 4 would give us negative 12 over 2 plus b, which negative 12 over 2 is negative 6. And then we add our 6, so 3 is our b. So finally we get y. Let's erase that. Oops. So finally we'll have y equals negative 3 over 2x plus 3. Now this one worked out nice because when we simplified our fraction, it came out to a nice integer and we could easily add this over. However, if you end up with having a fraction here still and you have to add or subtract it over, remember you are going to need to find a common denominator. So that's the lesson for today. Again, we're writing equations in slope-intercept form is what we call this, y equals mx plus b. And that'll be your assignment. So hopefully this works a little better than me doing the iPad, me standing up in front of you, and this is a little easier to see. So here's the assignment. Feel free to start on it ahead of time if you want. Otherwise, you'll be getting most of the hour tomorrow to work. And remember, we are correcting 3.4 at the beginning of the hour. So make sure you have that done. And I think I know how to